This is Rob Tebbutt for ID Boxing, and it is my pleasure to be joined by Lupasuliai, La'auli, Ole Malia, Toa, Joseph Parker. We're here in Manchester. It's the morning after, the night before. My Lord Joseph Wamayoi.
My lord, brother. Very good, thank you.
So, that was some fight last night at the Manchester Arena. You unfortunately came up short against Joe Joyce in the 11th round. Throw it out to you straight away. What did you make of that fight? It was some fight last night.
Listen, it was a great fight. It was a tough fight, and we knew what he was going to bring. And the pressure, relentless pressure that he put on the engine, and the volume of punches, and he was a better man yesterday. I would love the opportunity to fight him again, but I have to work my way back. And I was happy to be involved in a great fight. And congratulations to Joe Joyce, and all the best to him. And what's next?
You mentioned there the relentless pressure of him. He spoke before about his underrated boxing ability. Did you feel that in there, particularly the jab? How difficult was it to deal with?
You know that when you do watch Joe Joyce, his jab doesn't seem like obviously the fastest. His punches aren't the fastest, but they're very heavy. And his jab was deceptive. And it was actually quite quicker than I thought it would be, Maybe I should have had a bit of head movement and done like other things better, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and he got the win, and he was a better man, and we just got to move on.
The early rounds, people before the fight spoke about your hand speed and your natural athleticism. Describe the early rounds for me, because you won some of those early rounds, particularly on the judges' scorecards. How did you feel the fight was going up to the halfway point?
So I was boxing and moving the best I could with the pressure that he put on, and I think the earlier rounds were going okay, and I was ahead on the cards, I guess, in the earlier rounds, but when it hit sort of 6, everything turned from there. And I was pushing through and holding on and doing my best to stay in there, and obviously I got called for a good shot, and it's boxing. One shot can change everything, and that showed last night that it did change everything.
How did you feel with the extra weight? It's a career heaviest for you. You had this big juggernaut in front of you. You're trying to move. And how did it feel carrying the extra weight around the ring?
I felt pretty good. I felt that, the training camp was great. A few things happened, but I felt good on the night. There's no excuses, really. It is what it is. And he was a better man, but it just means I have to go back and keep learning, keep working on things, and then lock in another fight very soon. I want to keep busy. And I guess the long layoff wasn't the best. But also he had a long layoff before he had the fight with Hammer. So no excuses. It is what it is, and he won.
A lot of people are talking about that right hand that you landed in the 4th round, that overhand right that bounced off his head. What's it like as a fighter when you land a shot like that and he keeps coming?
Listen, when you land a shot like that and he keeps coming, like landed a good shot and he kept coming forward, like nothing happened. And so, listen, credit to Joe Joyce. He can take a punch. There's nothing really I can say bad about him. He took a good punch. He gave a lot of punches back, and he put the pressure on. And that was his game plan, and he was able to execute it better than I executed my plan. So that's it.
Second half of the fight, it did get tough in there for you, and you showed unbelievable heart. I mean, I think that's one of the things that's come out of the fight, is just how tough. A lot of people talking about Joe Joyce's chin and Joe Joyce's resilience, but after the fight, it's yourself. People talking about you taking the shots and showing that grit and determination to stay in there. As a fighter, as a proud man that I know you are, what does that mean to you to have people say that about you?
Listen, thanks to everyone for their kind words. It would be better not to take the shots and to avoid them and to try get the win. But at the end of the day, the fight happened the way it did. And, thankfully I was able to take those shots, and there was one good shot that landed and changed everything. But I appreciate everyone's kind words.
You've been in there with Usyk-Joshua, Andy Ruiz, Dillian Whyte. Where does Joe Joyce rank among those guys?
Joe Joyce, in terms of what he showed last night, right at the top. The pressure, the punches, the determination just to keep pushing. Like I said, there's not much more I can say about it. Just respect for what he showed last night.
He's now the WBO interim champion. He's mandatory challenger for Alexander Usyk. Tyson Fury, your good friend, was ringside talking about a potential fight there. How does he get on against Usyk and Fury, in your opinion?
Listen, there's no point asking me about Fury because, yeah, listen, we're very close, and I always back Tyson to win the fight, but be an interesting fight. And then with Usyk, because of Joe's size and just the relentless pressure, obviously Usyk and Joshua was a different fight. Joshua didn't put on the same pressure that Joyce did against myself, but be interesting to see. Very interesting.
Try and skate through the last couple of questions. Do appreciate your time, particularly the day after the fight. Everybody watching this is going to want to know what comes next for Joseph Parker. I mean, you've become an adopted Brit over here. We love having you over here. Always in good fights, always showing lots of value. I think it's fair to say your stock didn't drop at all last night. When can we expect to see you back in the ring, and who do you want to box?
Listen, I think as a fighter, and I take myself for example, the busier I am with fights, the better I get. And then when you have a long time away from fighting, sort of lose touch. And so I'd like to fight as soon as I can. Go home, see my wife and kids, recover and rest, spend some quality time, and then come back and see what's next.
We just had David Higgins over here, of course, your long-time promoter, manager, friend, of course. The name that he was talking about was Dillian Whyte. You had that brilliant fight in 2018 where you almost had him in the last round. Is that the one you want?
I'd love to fight Dillian Whyte. If he's free and available and there's nothing locked in for him, I think it'll be a great fight. He's coming off a loss against Tyson. I'm coming off a loss against Joyce. And I think if we can make it happen, it'll be great because the first fight was a close fight and a tough fight, and we can make it a more exciting fight the second time around.
Last quick couple. You mentioned there about your family, going away, going on holiday. You told me briefly off camera what you've got planned. So let the ID Boxing audience know what Joseph Parker is going to be up to in the next couple of weeks.
I'm going to go home to New Zealand, see my wife and kids, pack our bags, and then want to go to Fiji. When I go there and sit on the beach, I need a tan. I'm a Samoan. I'm a white Samoan that needs a tan. And they're going to go Samoa for a bit, see my granddad. He's been waiting patiently for me. See our family, the sons of the family, and just enjoy time away. I've been away for a long time, and our family's been very patient, understanding back home, and it would just be great just to relax as a family before school starts back again.
Okay, well, Joseph Parker, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you, whether it's in Morecambe Bay, Manchester, Vegas, wherever. Always been a gentleman, always made a lot of time for myself, ID Boxing. So thank you very much, and congratulations on a brilliant performance in admittedly a losing effort. And we look forward to seeing you back soon. I will give you the floor now. There's going to be people watching this from the UK, from the US, from all over the world, Samoa, New Zealand. What message have you got for your fans, the people who are looking forward to seeing Joe Parker back in the ring sometime soon?
Down there. Just very short and simple. Thank you all for the continued support. I'm very grateful and appreciate it a lot. And I'll be back. After a good rest and time with the family, I'll be back. Thank you guys once again, and God bless.
Fa.
Fa se for.